back in the shell and still connected to that same MongoDB instance we used earlier, let's again check out our flight data collection with find. And as you saw, use find pretty to get a pretty output. You see we got 3 documents in there. We got the document with our own custom ID. We got the other document with incomplete information but the automatically generated ID, and our original document. We already saw insert 1. Now, let me actually start with clearing this database now, before we then insert data again, but this time with insert many. Now, to clear the database, we have to use a delete command. And we can simply use our flight data collection because all these commands are always executed on a collection where you want to add or delete documents. And there we got delete 1 or delete many. Now here I want to clear all the data, and for this actually the easiest way would be to simply get rid of the entire collection. But since that would be boring, let's go with delete 1 to simply see how that works. Delete 1 takes a filter to find out which document to delete. And now you could filter for all kinds of things. A filter is defined as a document, so with curly braces, and then in its simplest form, you now simply define which key and which value you want to delete, or the document with that key and value you want to delete. So for example, here we could say departure airport, if that is equal to TXL, so to Berlin Tegel, then I want to delete that document. And what this would do is it would go ahead, find the first document in our database where the departure airport is TXL and delete it. So if I hit enter here, you see this was accepted, it was successful, and we see it deleted 1 document. So if we now again use our flight data and find all documents and pretty print them, we only see 2 documents now, the one with our custom ID and the first document we ever entered. This means that this middle document was now deleted, because it was the first document with a departure airport of TXL which it found. Obviously, we don't have to use the departure airport. We could have looked for an ID too. So I could also use db flight data delete 1, and I could have also looked for underscore ID, and then maybe my custom ID, this one here, TXL LHR 1. If I do this, it would delete this document. But let me also show you how to delete many documents. Now, the thing is, we got nothing in common. If I just execute delete many like this, it fails though, so I need to pass in a criteria. Now, we got nothing in common for our elements here. So let's first of all update them real quick to add a new field to both documents so that they have something in common, so that we can delete them in bulk, so that I can also show you this. So for this, let's go back to the collection and now use update 1. Update 1 updates, as the name suggests, 1 element. And for update 1, we first of all define a filter where we say which document should be updated. And now let's say we want to start with this first element here. So I want to update the document where, in my case here, maybe distance is 12,000. This should select this first document. The second argument then is how I want to change it. And now the question is, what do you pass there? Now let's say we want to add a new field, and therefore we pass in document here, marker, which holds some text, delete. By the way, as you see here, you can use single quotation marks for the value too, but you can also use double quotation marks. Now, this might add a new field, marker, with the value delete to that first element. But if I hit enter, I actually get an error. And the error is that the update operation document must contain an atomic operator or atomic operators. Now, this is a very weird error, and there's not really much you can do with it if you're just starting with MongoDB. The thing is, it simply is an incorrect type of data for updating. You don't pass in a document describing your change like this, because MongoDB doesn't know how to interpret this. Instead, what you do pass here is a document with curly braces with a special keyword, $set. And this is something you can remember. Whenever you see something with $sign in MongoDB, It's a reserved operator or word. $set is simply identified by MongoDB when used in an update one operation to describe the changes you want to make. The value of $set then is a document with curly braces, and we need to close another pair of curly braces for our surrounding curly braces, now marked in purple. And now what this does is it tells MongoDB, hey, for this document you're finding, please set this value. And if this value did exist, it would change it to delete. And if it does not exist, as in our case, it will add it. So if I now hit enter, this succeeded. You see it found one document that matched our filter, and it modified one document then. And now if I again access my flight data, find it, and pretty print it like this, we see we now added the marker here. Now let's say I want to add that marker to all my documents. Now what you can do then is you can use update many. So on flight data, you can use update many. And now you need to pass something as a filter, but you can simply pass empty curly braces. And we could have done that on delete many too, by the way. This will select all documents. And now here, I again use set and then describe what to change. And now let's say I'll set the marker to delete here. So not delete, but to delete. If you hit enter, you see it matched two documents and it modified two documents. And now, if you again access your flight data, you find it and you pretty print it, you see that both now have the marker to delete. Please also note that for the first document, this was delete before and it was changed to delete. And now with that, we can use that marker to delete all. Now, as I mentioned, what we could do here is we could also use delete many and pass an empty pair of curly braces too. This should delete all elements. But of course, I also wanted to show you how to use update. So here, I will now use my new condition and check for all elements where the marker is to delete. And if we now hit enter, you see this was accepted and two elements were deleted. And now if I access flight data and I use find and pretty print this, well, we get back nothing because there's nothing in there anymore. So this is how we can insert elements, how we can delete and update them, and how we find them. But it's not all I wanted to show you. Let's continue in the next lecture.